is our directress, Mrs. Asha Kumarasinghe.
I had this dream, this ambition to become a lawyer. I'm a people's person. I could feel the pulse of the people. They were hands-on people and I became a hands-on director. I told you that we started with I Can attitude, H2O, hope to opportunity. So under that program, we partnered with Orphan Care. So from our sales revenue, a percentage is going to orphan care, orphanages, for the children, for their education, for their higher education. We have about 45% ladies in our workforce. Nothing is impossible. If you take it to your head, no one will tell you there's an opportunity to go and grab it. You have to do it for yourself.
Welcome back to the I Can podcast series, where we talk about leaders who challenge limits and inspire. One such prominent figure who leads with grace and courage, fostering connections beyond just business, is our directress, Mrs. Asha Kumarasinghe.
Thank you, Akhil.
You've transitioned from a legal field to a leadership role that touches every level of business, even learning directly from the shop floor. What has taught you about learning and staying open, no matter where you are in your career?
Yes, Akhil. You know, when a girl is born, she's born with many roles within her. So likewise, as a girl, I had this dream, this ambition to become a lawyer. My uncle, late Mr. Melvin Boralassa, was a senior advocate at that time. He inspired me. So after A-levels, I did law, became a lawyer, and worked as a lawyer for a few years.
Okay.
Then I got married and had 2 sons. I took a decision at that point to be a full-time mother and a wife. It was my choice, my decision. After about 4-5 years, my father wanted me to join American Premium as a director. That was in the year 2006, 19 years ago.
Okay.
I joined American Premium in the year 2006 as a director. So I started first in the factory. When I came to the factory, there were 2 factories there.
Okay.
One, American Premium for 5-gallon operation. The other one, American Waters, to operate the small packs range. I didn't know any of this operation, right?
Yeah.
But no one spoon-fed me. And no one guided me, no one told me what to do and how to do, where to start, right? So I knew that I have to start from the basics. I have to start from the grassroots level. So that is what I did, So where do I do that? I have to go to the ground, I have to go to the floor, I have to go to the field.
Yeah.
And who are the people who are in this ground level? At that time, American Premium was not only handling the production, stores, maintenance, and the transport, but all the deliveries, which were going to Colombo, to suburbs and branches, and even HR, the cooler maintenance unit, the collection division, even part of finance, then marketing and sales, all were happening from the factory. So 90% of American Premium operation was happening from the factory. So I knew that I have joined the correct place. I am in the factory, right? But I had a challenge, a big challenge, because I had to learn everything on my own, right? So I am someone, I'm a people's person. That helped me a lot. And I'm always a I can person. So I have that attitude. So what I did was, I put aside my title, being a director. I put aside my ego, whatever the pride I had. I put aside that I'm the daughter of the chairman, all that I put aside. And I went to the floor, right, to the bottom level workforce. So at least 3 days a week, I used to come at 7 a.m. in the morning because the factory shift started at 6:30. So one day I will stay in the production floor, I will talk to the people, the production workforce, and to the supervisors. The next day I will go to the maintenance unit, and I will talk to the technicians, right? And the transport, where there were the mechanics who was doing the handling the vehicle fleet, and then I will stay with the operation, where the driver outmen were there.
Okay.
So all these divisions had supervisors as well. So I was talking to them, spending my time in these areas, right? And the other thing is, Akhil, at that time, 80 to 90% workforce was skilled people, right? Because American Premium is the first bottled water factory started
Skilled or
in Sri Lanka.
unskilled?
skilled, mind me,
Okay.
because most of them were there from the beginning.
Okay.
So they were very skilled people.
Okay.
So I could learn a lot from them, right? After about few months, I could feel the pulse of the people,
Yeah.
and they started trusting me. I earned their trust, their respect, and I trusted and respected them in return. And they were very open with me. Like, my doors were always open for them. And they used to come to me with their issues, maybe day-to-day issues, maybe welfare issues, even their hardships or basic needs, or even sometimes with personal issues, they will come to me, right? So even when there is a funeral or wedding in one of their houses, I used to visit. So that was a big thing for them. And sometimes they will bring some, like the village fruits, jambus or veralu, or even a mango acharu for me. I always accepted that, right? So to show them the respect. So that way, I was able to build up a network. And I was able to gather the information. And that was very helpful for me in the long run. Whenever there was a crisis, whenever there was a challenge, that helped me a lot. Because I became part of them. They were hands-on people, and I became a hands-on director. So that's how my beginning was at the American Premium. Everything I learned on my own,
That's an amazing.
starting from the bottom.
So, you've led through two massive crises. One is COVID and the floods.
Yes.
And also, you launched an ambitious, first-of-a-kind product. What helped you push through those challenges and believe it could be done?
Yes. Akhil, our factory was opened in the year 1996. And in the year 2007, May, there was a massive flood. No one in the factory who worked in the factory at that time has seen a flood before.
Okay.
Even it was my first time to see a flood. So we didn't know anything about the floods, right? And the villagers said this flood came after 18 years, after 1989. This was the first time they were experiencing a flood.
A massive flood like
Yes, a massive flood, right? So it was raining everywhere that day, and then from the balcony of my room, I could see the water, right?
Okay.
The river level has gone up, right? And it was so muddy water, and it was flowing towards the land, right? So it was really scary, right? So what we did was, at that time, our chairman, managing director, even the general manager in the factory, they were all overseas.
Okay.
For different reasons in different countries, right? I was the only director who was there, and I was in the factory. But all the other managers were there, and we all came together as a team, right? What we did was we removed everything, like even the computers, stationery, the furniture, even the motors from the machines, and we took them to the next floor, right? So even the bottles and the finished goods, they were sent to the Colombo locations, right? So nothing was left on the floor. By maybe around 10:30 p.m., we were able to finish this task. And around 10 p.m., I remember, they told me, "Ma'am, why don't you go home? The road will be underwater. If you stay here, you will also have to spend the night here," right? So I remember around 10 o'clock, I went home. But, I kept on calling them, asking what's happening there. Is the water level going up? Is the water coming
down?
Yeah. No, not
It
the.
was not?
No, not. It was not going down,
Oh,
but
it was always coming up.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. That's right, Akhil. And there were few people who stayed in the factory. They didn't go home. They wanted to stay in the factory and look after the factory at that time, right? And then around 1:30 a.m., they said, "Oh, the road is completely underwater."
Okay.
So the Hangwella town, the Bomiria, even Kadwella town, they were underwater, right? So next day morning when I came, I couldn't go to the factory. Why? The road is underwater, right? The water level was so high, I couldn't go. But I brought some snacks, and I remember some coffee and tea for the people who were staying in the factory. Yeah. So I sent them with my driver, right? He could go, but I couldn't go,
Yeah.
right? So then by the third day, when I came, the water level was down. It
Okay.
was to my knee level, and I walked inside the factory, right? Few people were there, and what we wanted was to start the production, right? Luckily, there were no major damages, because we were able to manage everything, right? It was a crisis situation, but we were able to do it as a team. So I was part of it, and the next day when I was there, together with everyone, I also cleaned. I remember even my boots, I gave someone else. I just put my deck shoes and I started cleaning, because I thought more than commanding, I thought more than commanding, it's best to be with the people and start cleaning and, getting things back to normal, right?
Lead by example.
Yeah, of course. Lead by example, that's right. So that's what I did, right? So that was a scary thing. And no other seniors were there except for the managers and myself. So we managed to do it. By the time the chairman, MD, and the GM returned, factory was back to normal. There were no signs of flood, nothing. So that was the first flood in 2007. And again, we had a flood threat in the year 2016. But when the second flood came, we knew what to do. So we managed to overcome that.
Because you
Yeah,
prepared.
we were prepared, and we were listening to the weather forecast, listening to the news, and all that we knew. So we got prepared, and we managed to overcome it. And when the COVID came in the year 20, I think you must be a small guy, right? Schooling.
COVID? No, I was like 22.
All right. Then you can remember it very well, all right? Then you are only a few years younger than me, okay, right? Anyway, when the COVID came, I think no one knew about anything. The whole world affected, and only thing we knew is it's a deadly disease, right? People will die. If you get it, you will die. American Premium Factory is the only factory which operated during the COVID from the bottled water. All the other bottled water companies were closed, but we operated. And I was someone who went to office and to the factory. At my home, my husband was at home, my father, brother, they were all at home. I was the only one who was going, right? But I had this thing in my mind, I will never get COVID. I was always telling that to myself. I'm never going to, I'm an I can person. So I had this positive thought, I'm not going to get COVID. And I never got it. Right? So far, I have never got it. Not even a member in my family. No one. Yes, cross the fingers. So no one got it. So I remember once, the masks were very expensive that time. So I got some managers to stitch mask at home with whatever because the shops were closed. The whole country was like dead, right?
Lockdown.
So yeah, lockdown, dead, and the curfew and everything. So with the materials, whatever they could find at their home, they stitched masks, because we were operating, the factory was operating, and then the deliveries were going.
Yeah.
So we were doing that. So it was a different experience, right, to COVID. But I'm personally someone who got involved in this operational work. So I had that experience, right? So that was the COVID first wave. When the second wave came the next year, it was same. It was the same, right? So I think we have some vaccines, right?
Yeah, by that time,
we had some vaccines. But anyway, people were scared, right? We will get this and don't know what will happen. It was still deadly. So what we did was, when the second wave came, our sales dropped. Our sales dropped to 50%, right? So 5-gallon sales. So we had to do something. At that time, there was a senior manager, a lady, a very active lady, and she brought this concept, right, where we can motivate people and we can bring some more sales into the company. Right? It was a very difficult time for the company. So I think every company, corporate, suffered, right? So we had to do something, right? So I said, okay, I am with you. Let's do something. we will bring back that. So our target was to bring back 100,000 sales more, right? It was a very difficult task, very difficult challenge. But like we were both I can. So we both had this I can attitude, right? So with that, both of us, right? The both ladies together, we started this thing. We first did the proposal, got the budget approved from the managing director, and then we started it. So we both went everywhere to all our locations, because our locations are everywhere. We have Colombo locations when we have the branches. So we were going to all these locations and branches, right? The two of us, when we went to Gaul, it was like a dead city. All the shops, the supermarkets, everything,
closed.
Even boutiques, nothing, all were closed. And we couldn't find a place to have lunch, right? So what we did was we went everywhere, and then in a rubber estate, we found a place where they said they will give us, it was a restaurant, but they also didn't have anything much, but whatever they had, they prepared the food and gave us. So we had that lunch, and I remember when we went to Hambantota, it was 4 o'clock, right? The same thing, nothing, no place to eat. So there was a small boutique, a pettikade, right? They had this sinisambol buns. So, right, that's all they had. We didn't know whether they were old, but we were pretty hungry, me and that lady. So both of us together, we bought some the sinisambol buns, and we had that for lunch, right? 4 p.m., right? So like that, we traveled Anuradhapura, Kurunegala, all branches, and we were visiting our locations and other store points in Colombo, the Nigambo, Kaluthra, all these places. We were pushing the staff to go behind the targets and motivating them. And we sometimes, the driver outman, they all the barber shops were closed, no salons, everything closed. And they had their long hair, the long beard, right?
Yeah.
So we had to even get them groomed.
Yeah.
That also we did. Okay. Grooming people, right? That also did. At the end of the month, what happened? What do you think? What do you think, Akhil? Can you guess?
Yeah, definitely.
I told you that we started with I can attitude, right?
Yeah.
So we did 97,000 bottles more, right? Only 3,000 we couldn't go. We did 97,000. Somehow from 100,000 target, we achieved 97,000. We brought it into that
The 97%?
level. Yeah, 97%. So that was a great achievement. And after that, the happiness we had, right? It was immense. You can't express in words. So that was the experience we had in COVID. Yeah. Now, the second question, what you asked me about the glass bottles, that was also a challenge I had. I was given in the year 2012, right? 2012, September, I was asked to do this project, glass bottles, sustainable glass bottles, right? So what they gave me after asking me to do this project? I was given a landline number of a local supplier, right? The local bottle supplier's landline number, and overseas suppliers, cap suppliers' email ID. That's all I had. Nothing else, no information, nothing. So how am I going to start this? But again, I can attitude, right? I knew that I can. Because I am someone, I always take the ownership. Whenever I get a task, whenever I get a challenge, I always take the ownership, right? And I don't wait till others to come and do it. I do it on my own, right? When this challenge was given, I didn't wait. I had a few people with me to help me. So that was a Saturday, when the project was given. Thursday, and Saturday, there was an exhibition at BMICH, right? So I went to that exhibition. And when I went to that exhibition, you know what I saw? I saw that glass bottle suppliers was there, right? He was there. His stall was there.
Was this BMICH?
Yeah, it was at BMICH, okay. Right? So I immediately went there, and to my luck, the person who is in charge of the sales and marketing was there, right? So I immediately started a chat with him, and we discussed, conversation. And at that moment, we discussed everything, how I'm going to get the bottles and what price he will quote and everything. And by that time, I have already sent the mail to the overseas supplier that was in Thailand to send me some samples.
Okay.
After about 1 week, I got the cap samples. So I had the bottle, I had the cap, then I had to find the crates, right? So I talked to two major plastic suppliers to get my crates done, because I needed a full crate, that is to protect the bottles, and also in our color, that's our blue, special blue. But my order was very small, right? So these are giant players in the plastic industry. I was not sure whether they will agree for me. But to my luck, they agreed. And you know what my first order was? Just 500 crates and 1,000 bottles. 1,000 glass bottles and 500 crates, right? So they did it. And then to find a machine. So Sunday Times, there is this magazine Hited.
Yeah.
In that, I saw there was an ad. A person who is bringing down the machines from India, and he has this glass filling lines, right? So since this was the initial beginning, I just wanted a very simple machine, a basic one.
Okay.
So I went to see him, and he with the samples of the bottle and the cap, and he took them to India, and then he sent me some photos and videos. So we agreed to get that machine down. It was a very basic one, right? It was partially manual operated. So we got it from India. And then he said he wants to come and see the place where we're going to have it, right? So for that also I went. I think he wanted to come early morning, right? 6:30 he gave me the time. I picked him from his home, right? And brought him to the factory. And then he gave his idea how to place this and, to get the tap lines done and everything. So he did a plan for that.
Okay.
So we did according to that. And we started our operation. In 2013, when we got the first order, right, it was also a challenge because...
First glass bottle order?
Yeah, the glass bottle order. So that was 475 bottles, something like that. But they wanted it. Now, they placed the order today, and the next day they wanted the bottles, right?
Okay.
That was the challenge, right?
Yeah.
Now, there was no time to print it, right? So what we did was we did the paper labels and gave it to them, right?
On the glass bottle?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did the paper label. We didn't have much experience, no experience at all, right?
Yeah,
it was the first order, but we didn't want to lose it, right? So we grabbed it, right? So that's the challenge, right? So then slowly, we had a very young, dynamic manager, marketing manager in head office, right? Like you, very smart guy. So he built up a customer base in Colombo, and then we had area managers and also our branch managers who were there at that time in Gaul and Kandy. They did the same thing. So we, in a short time, like 2-3 years, we were managed to sell about 100,000 glass bottles, right? So we built up that base. That was it about the glass bottles, yes.
It's amazing.
And 2017, we have introduced the customized bottle with the screw cap. So at that time, when initial beginning, Akhil, when we started, we had a strength. Although the bottle was just like a milk bottle, because supplier had only that bottle for the water, right? He didn't have any other bottle. We had a strength. We got these caps from Thailand. It was a rip cap. Usually what they use is the crown cap, where you need an opener to open it. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So when we had this cap from Bangkok, it was a rip cap. You don't need an opener.
So it was, rip it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that is also one of our biggest strength at that time for the sales.
I see.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah. You've made empathy a central part of your leadership, whether it's supporting students, donating water, or addressing women's needs. What drives that commitment?
Yes, Akhil. Now, the same year I joined, that was in 2007, after about a few months, our managing director, he gave me a task. Task was to organize the first group event in the company. So I had just 2 weeks for that, right?
Okay.
So with some managers.
What sort of event?
That was a staff family day,
Okay.
right? It was in the month of December with the Christmas spirit, right?
Okay.
And that was the first time we started a family event,
Okay.
right, in the group. So that was 2007, December, right? So I had only 2 weeks to get it done. So with some of the managers, somehow I managed to arrange everything. When the managing director entered, he was our chief guest that day. When he entered from the gate, it was like a fairyland. So everything was very well organized, right? So apart from that, in that event, I always wanted to do something for the minor staff. I never call them minor workers, I call them minor staff, right?
Because
so
the staff.
because they are the skilled people in the company. So I thought I chose the children because children are the future of the country. So I chose their children, the children of the minor staff. I started 2 CSR projects in that event. One, to donate books, school books, from the nursery level to the A levels, the entire book list, the annual book list, with the uniform materials, vouchers for the shoes, even the school bags and everything. That was one, right? And that we started and did it in the year 2007.
2007.
Sorry, 2006.
2006.
2006.
Okay.
Can we change that? Mama, 2007 kive. Year was 2006.
Come on,
Shall
man.
we start? It's okay. Right.
Casual, yeah.
Okay, right. So it was the year 2006,
Okay.
right? So what happened? The second one. Second one was to give scholarship, right? So we matched the Mahapala scholarship at that time, monthly scholarship, also to the children of the minor staff who pass their A levels and have enough marks to enter the universities, right? So these book donation we've been doing for the past 18 years. Even in this 2025 we did it.
Yeah.
Only 1 year we couldn't do, that was the COVID year, right? So 18 years continuously we are giving the books for the minor staff children.
Yeah.
And even the scholarships we have given to some of the children who went to universities.
Okay.
So the happiness, the joy you have is that when a minor staff comes and tell you, ma'am, my son passed scholarships and now going to another college.
That's wholesome, right?
Yeah, that's wholesome.
Yeah.
That happiness, right? It's a big thing for them. And they thank you. It's because of the company has given us these books, right, for my children to study. So we've been doing it from nursery level up to A levels. And even to those who enter the
Universities.
right? So that's the first one I started. And after that, in 2007, when the floods came, I told you that whole Hangalla,
Yeah.
Bomiriya towns went underwater. At that time, there were no government water supply, right, in those areas. So people were taking water from the wells, right?
But now they're flooded.
They are flooded.
Okay.
All the water was under, the
wells
wells
were
were underwater, right?
Yeah.
So I saw that with my own eyes, right? So I thought, why? So we thought we will donate water to these people, right? So we went to the villages, to the town, and we started donating water, right? So that was the first time I got involved in that. Before
Okay.
that also we were donating, right? So I wanted to get that experience, right? So I walked in that muddy water. It was muddy water,
Yeah,
right? So, but I wanted to get that feeling, get that experience. How you feel it, that's the most important thing, right?
That is.
So I went with the others and we donated water. And I remember, Akhil, in the year 2004, can you remember tsunami?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I remember it.
When tsunami came, American Premium was the first bottled water company to take a truck full of water to down south, right? Second time when they took, I also went. I even took my children. They were very small, but I took them. I can still remember what I saw either side of the roads when we were traveling, right?
It's traumatic, right?
Yeah, of course, right? Millions of people got affected from that tsunami, right? So that was one experience. And then we have donated to so many deserving charity organizations, underprivileged communities. Even if you take the last 10 years, I think we have donated more than 800,000 liters of water, right?
800,000.
Yeah, more than 800,000 liters of water, right? So we have donations. And in the year 2018, we sponsored Katharagama Perahara. We gave water for 3 days to Katharagama Perahara. We've partnered with ITN. With ITN, we were there, even I went. So for 3 days, we stayed there and we supplied free water. Free, clean, purified
For
water.
3 days.
Yeah, for 3 days for everyone who came to see the Katharagama Perahara. That was in 2018. So after that, we are sponsoring so many sports events like IPL, Run for Life, and many other, right? And we are empowering more than 1.6 million individuals we have empowered throughout these 10 years, right? And in the year 2024, we started a new program that is called H2O, Hope to Opportunity. So under that program, we partnered with Orphan Care, right? Orphan Care, which has more than 90 orphanages all over the country. So from our sales revenue monthly, a percentage is going to Orphan Care orphanages.
To help underprivileged
Yeah, of
kids.
course, for the children and the youths who are staying there, for their education, for their higher education, and even to get job opportunities. So we've been doing that, and the same year under that program, we started supplying free water to Apeksha Hospital, right? Why we did that was Apeksha Hospital is a place where all these cancer patients come, right? So we went there, I went there personally, and we saw that how the patients wait there. There's a OPD building. It's a 3-storied building, right? From all over the island, people come there. They wait. These are cancer patients, right?
Exactly.
So one floor is for the children, right? And the other 2 floors are for adults and everyone who has cancer, right? They wait for days, right, to see the doctors. So giving them free water is what we can do, right? It's not a big thing, but we've been doing that. Every month we are giving free water to this OPD building at Apeksha Hospital. So that is also another thing what we are doing. So we've been doing all this charity work, and we will continue to do this. And the other thing, when you take our workforce, now we have about 45% ladies in our workforce. If you take the factories, it's the same, 50%, at least 50% workforce in the factory are ladies, right? So this is the biggest grievance I've heard from the ladies in the factory. What they say is now they come to the factory and work. And when they have night shift, in the night shift also they work, right? And then they go home, again they work. Next day again they come to the factory and again they work. So it's like a cycle, they keep on working and working. They have no time for themselves. They have no time to laugh. They have forgotten how to laugh, right? So the only thing they do is they work, right? So what we thought was we'll organize on the Women's Day, we'll have a fun day for the ladies, right? So even for the factories and other locations, so we have a fun day for the ladies to dress in their best way, to come to the factory. We have games, competitions, singing, dancing, so then they can enjoy the way they want. They're free to do anything, right? So we do that, right, on the Women's Day. And also we have started from this year to donate to elderly ladies' homes, which we started from this year, to visit the elderly ladies' homes and spend some time with them and donate whatever they require.
Yeah.
So these are a few things we've been doing. So we will continue these CSR projects. Akhil, there's another point I want to highlight in this orphan care. every bottle, whether it's a small packs or 5 gallon, every bottle the customers purchase, there's a contribution. There is a percentage going to the orphan care for the children's well-being.
Appreciate it. You talk about the importance of self-love and well-being. What are the small things that you do to take care of yourself? And also, why is it so important, especially for a leader?
Yeah, as a girl, as a teenager, I had these small habits which later on became practices in my life. You know, as a school girl, I used to get up early in the morning to study for my exams. So I used to set the alarm maybe 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Right? I used to get up and study. Later on, it became a practice, right? Even when there is no exam, I used to get up early, right? So after I got married, I never set an alarm because it was in my mind. Automatically, because that was a practice. I'm an early bird, right? I get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes the people ask me, why do you need to get up early morning, right? Because when you get up early in the morning, right, you can plan your day ahead. So this is what I do, right? The first thing I do is I drink 500 ml water, right? I don't drink coffee, I don't drink tea, no lemon water, no hot water, nothing, just plain, purified, clean water, 500 ml.
American water, right?
Of course, right? So I drink that in the morning. And then I pray, When I was small, my grandparents were living with us, and my grandfather had a small prayer room, right? So I used to watch him praying, and I was fascinated by this, right? So I wanted to do the same thing. I was just 6 years old, right? Very small. Then I was not even tall enough. It was in a higher place, right? So I pulled a chair and got into the chair, and I used to clean, right? The statues, the photos, I will pluck flowers and bring them to my grandfather. I was doing that, right? And that became a practice. Now, when I get up early in the morning now, I pray, right? I pray, I meditate, I read, I write, right? During that time, I plan my day, all that I do, right? So although I have a domestic, even a cook at home, I go to the kitchen, spend some time with the cook, planning the menus and everything. So I read and write, right? So when I was in late teens, right, I read this book, what was it? The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma, right? I don't know whether you must read that, right? So when I read it, I went to a different world. I loved that book, right? And I started buying and collecting his books, right? So when I read his Greatness Guide 1 and 2, right? I was already making goals, the life goals, right? So I loved reading and collecting books. The school days, we used to have exhibitions, exhibitions, book exhibitions, right? I used to get money from my father.
Yeah.
I used to go and buy books, and I had a cupboard at my home in my room. I used to collect these books, right?
Yeah.
So I really loved it. And now I have a small library in my home, right? So as a young adult, there were these 3 books which I read and which changed my mindset, right? One was The Principles.
The principles.
By Ray Dalio. And the second one was The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. And the third one, Flight Plan by Brian Tracy. I don't know whether these books are available now in Sri Lanka, because recently I wanted to give them to one of my friends and I was looking for that. They were not available here, right? So now, you might think that I'm from the old school, right? I do e-reading, but I still enjoy reading a book and owning a book, right? I still love it, right? So I do that, right? So in the morning also, I read the same book over and over again, right?
Yeah.
But I love it, right? So I do that. and I write. Sometimes I write what comes to my mind, my thoughts, my feelings, and or maybe even the day's plan. Where am I going to go today? Whether I'm going to the factory or any other location to a branch visit or set. So I plan my day, right? So and these habits, mind me, I learned from my father, because my father also still at the age of 85, he gets up at 4 a.m., right? Still.
Okay.
And he reads, listen and writes. Listen to the news, right? So I also do the same thing. So sometimes I will listen to CNN news, even local news, if I have missed, and I will watch a program in one of the Buddhist channels. I'm a Buddhist, so I will watch one of the programs. Or then around 5:30, you know what I do around 5:30? I go to my garden. I have a small, beautiful garden. I go to the garden and spend some time there. I'm a nature lover. I'm a nature lover and an animal lover. So I love spending time there in my garden early morning, right? You can see the sun rising. You can listen to the music of the birds. Chirping, and even the grasshoppers, the cricketers, and even the frogs sometimes,
Yeah.
And you can feel the mist. You can feel the breeze, right?
And you're closer to nature.
Yeah, the nature. It's a wow feeling, right? So I really do that. So these are some of the things I do, starting the day with the 500 ml water, right? So I do that. So, and then another thing I do is I'm someone who always keep my personality. Those who know me know that, right? Even in my family, I was not the drama queen, but the fashion queen, right? I was the fashion queen because I was so fashionable even as a young girl, right? So at that time, there were no good shops where you can buy clothes. So what I did was I used to design the clothes I want, right? And my mother could stitch very well, and she used to stitch, right? From that time onwards, till I design my own clothes, whether it's office wear or even a party or a wedding or whatever the occasion is, I design my own clothes. And even what I'm wearing now is my own design, right? So I do that because it's part of keeping my personality, because that is something I do. Even as a child, I was very concerned about my personality, right? So when you go in front of the mirror, that's what I do, right? I like a mantra. I say, I'm the best looking, I'm the most beautiful. I just think, because it's my mindset, right? It's my mindset.
And loving yourself.
Yeah, that's the first thing you must do. That's the first thing everyone must do, right?
Exactly.
So you have to do that, right? So I do that. And the last line, what I say is, I'm enough for me, right? I'm enough for me. So that I do, right? So that, after that, so then what I do is, another thing I do is, I'm very health conscious. What I drink, what I eat, I'm very concerned, right? So I'm a water person, right? Like I said, I start my day with water, I end my day with water. Before sleeping, again, I drink 500 ml of water. I make sure for a day I drink 2.5 ml water. Those who know me knows very well. 2.5 liters every day. And I'm always with a bottle of water, right? Right. So I'm that person. And I'm concerned about what I eat, right? I eat a lot of veggies, a lot of green leaves, fruits, and natural juices, and then proteins, right? I think I have rice only once a week, right? So I don't eat junk food, right? And no caffeine for me, no tea or coffee. I have given up that long time ago, right? So it's water for me, even for my kids. Even my sons are like that, right? So my family, I'm very concerned. Even, you won't believe, even the pets in my house, they drink a lot of water. After every meal, they are trained to drink water, right? Can you believe it? It's like that, right? So these are some of the habits I have, which have become practices in my life, right? They help me a lot, right? So if you look at the stories of the great leaders in the world, right? Or the greatest, most successful entrepreneurs, or the greatest musicians or artists or game changers or whoever, they get up early, right?
They get up early.
They read, they write, they observe, they do all that, right? So that's life. And then I'm someone who likes to learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning, even at American Premium, I learn a lot from the bottom level staff, right? So when you are with people, I mean, learning is not limited to what you learned in school or what you learned in unis, right? Or to any other institution. But learning is all about being in the environment, being in the society, being with people, right? Even when you have a conversation with someone who knows more than you.
Every day is a learning.
Yeah, every day is a learning, right? So you do that. So even when you are given an opportunity, right, to go abroad, you can learn. So every day there's an opportunity for you to learn, change your mindset, and grow. And so that's something that helped me throughout this journey, right? Even in my personal life, even in my career. So that's about it. Those are some of the small things I learn.
Perfect.
And I'm practicing.
For anyone listening who's facing tough decisions, self-doubt, or roadblocks, what would you say to them? Should they move forward with confidence?
Yes, that's a very good question, Akhil. Yes, I've been there, right? I have faced struggles, gone through pain, ups and downs. There were good days, there were bad days. I've faced crisis situations, then there were challenges. All that were part of my life, right? So I've been there, I have cried, I have gone through mood swings, all that was there. But the most important thing, they were lessons in life. They were experiences of life, right? I didn't stay there. I moved forward, right? It was my decision, my choice, because I chose to move forward, right? I became more strong, right? Strong doesn't mean that physically I became strong, right? Mentally I became strong.
And emotionally.
Of course. And I built up a very strong mindset, right? So I learned patience, right? So I was courageous, I was brave, right? And gave me strength to move forward, to give a better version of Asha Kumarasinghe, right? So that's what I did, right? Because every day you get an opportunity, right? To put behind your past experiences and lessons and to move forward, right? To change yourself, to adapt to the changes and to grow. Because what I've learned from my experiences, right? You don't need to be perfect, right? You can fail, you can make mistakes,
Yeah.
right? You can cry.
Definitely.
Really? You can even go into mood swings, you can be lost. But the most important thing is to stand up, put aside your past and move forward. Because these will teach us to be more strong and courageous, right? So you put aside everything and go forward.
Basically,
right?
to say to have an I can attitude.
Of course, right? So then the other thing is, right? I mean, nothing is impossible if you take it to your head that everything is possible. And there is a solution for every question, right? Every question, there's a solution, there's an answer, right? So it is up to you to change yourself because you are doing it. Now, I did it for myself, right? Like that, you have to do it for yourself because the world is not so kind, right? No one will come and give you a helping hand. No one will tell you there's an opportunity, go and grab it, right? You have to do it for yourself, right? So like I said, you can fail, you can make mistakes. But the important thing is for you to stand up with your better version, right?
Every day.
Every day, because every day there is a learning, right? So every day with the opportunities you learn and you move forward, right? That's what I've been doing all these years, right? Now today, if you ask me to describe Asha Kumarasinghe, right? What I describe today is not what I am tomorrow, right? Because my attitude, my mindset, even my personality will change tomorrow. There'll be a new Asha tomorrow, right?
With learning from the past.
Of course, because These are all part and parcel of life and lessons of life, right? So I'll be a different person, right? And the other thing is, if I can do it, you can do it too, right? So that is what I feel, right? So
That's an amazing story.
keep learning, stay grounded. If I can do it, you can do it too.
Her story is a powerful reminder that grace and empathy can foster amazing connections. With purpose and an I can attitude, nothing is impossible. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs a little motivation today. I'm Akil, and this is I Can.